Hello, everyone. Welcome to Far From Just Words. The topic today is African heads of state need to stick together. African heads of state must be united. African heads of state must be united. The unity of the African heads of state can be the beginning of solving a lot of problems on the continent. We are always at loggerheads with each other because of history, because of many other things, because of ego, because of tribes, because of known forces that we do know, some of them, and unknown forces, sometimes foreign interventions. But I think that we should stop playing with each other, because when you big people play with each other, the examples you set forth is that we all are dumb, because they don't see. I don't think the West or America has seen 3/4 of Africans. But when they say we are dumb, it's because they've seen most of you. They've seen your decisions, they've seen your strategies, they've seen your economic, the way you play with your economics, which somehow to them it's funny. I mean, let me show you a video of the files. Is it Epstein files? What he said in one of the videos that he discovered on the files. Just look at what he said.
So in some of the countries, in some of the African countries, for example, they might have been a military person. They were a general. In some of the African countries, they might have been a disc jockey. Or in our country, they would have been an actor. The knowledge of money they don't have expertise, they have no degrees in finance. They really, and this is one of the major problems, their expertise, if they have any financial knowledge, is of their own checking account or bank account and filling in their own taxes. So many world leaders who don't really have a financial underpinning make fundamental errors when it comes to money on a country or institutional level.
Now, you just discovered that they knew how to play you, because they knew that your economics was not good. You barely know anything about what managing a country is about. You thought about, they knew that you like private jets. They knew that you like best schools and hotels for your children and yourselves. So they gave you those things. They play tricks on you. And then you see yourselves selling out your people for so many years. For so many years. Because I cannot understand where a country like China, made of billions of people, did you think that they never ever had tribal wars or problems amongst each other? One city looks like a province in your country. Do you really think they never ever had a problem? But they did know that there was a difference between wanting and needing something. There was a need for them to come together. There was a need for them to stand for each other. There was a need for them to stick together, because the West was about to destroy them. And today, you're wearing the clothes that Chinese make. You're driving their cars. Some of them are praying some of you are praying on their altars. But some of you there's nothing that has come to your mind to ask, how is this thing made of? How did they make this thing? How did they make it to work? You refuse. You're fighting each other. And this brings me to what some of my friends call the boundary trap. The boundary trap. This trap where we have boundaries. This is Kenya, this is Zambia, this is Cameroon, this is Nigeria. This boundary trap that we are in, where you always have to showcase yourself. I'm better than them in the other country. You know us Nigerians, we are better. You know us Zambia, we are better. You know us this, we are better. Oh, we are more intelligent. Oh, we are more this. We have more development. We have more this. This is not what we need. Other stupidity is what has kept us stagnated. Because while we are thinking of those things, they're making more weapons and orchestrating more plans behind the scenes, where they are going to sway our leaders and make them to sell something that we don't know. Because every day that we have privatization, something is being privatized on national TV. African heads of states have to come together and stick together. If not for anything else, just for your people. The shame of traveling and feeling sometime when people look at you and say words like, you guys, your president is 98 years old. You guys really try. But you guys have never, do you guys even have a train? Do you guys have train in your country? Jesus. I wonder how, when you guys live in these hotels and these beautiful places you go to live abroad, don't you think that you can make your own nations better? Another thing is that, number two, what we have to do, as I said, the African leaders have to stick together or must be united. The reason is most of the people fighting behind the scenes against us are people that are financially rich, that are worthy. You will never see them on TV. They are behind the scenes. So we have to be ready because they have been strategizing and planning and doing the same thing they have been doing today. They have been doing it for more than 200 years. We are new countries. We are new nations. We don't know much. But if we can start now making plans and strategizing on how to defend ourselves or how to even counterattack on things, both on economic activities on the continent or abroad, military, political activities, home and abroad, if we can even strategize on that, it will be very, very sensible. Why do we nowadays go to run to Russia for weapons? Before it was America and the West. So when we have trouble now with Russia, where do we run to now? Middle East? What is wrong with us thinking about making our own weapons? So they can have weapons. They can have nuclear weapons, but you can't have nuclear weapons. Do you understand that logic? Do you understand that logic doesn't even make sense? Because you have been at the mercy of them for too long that you don't even know what it means to make your own decisions. Why you stood there and allowed Gaddafi be killed? Because you couldn't even make a decision for yourself, most of you African leaders. This is not just head of states, it's just leaders. It means even you sitting in your office where you are, you're a leader. You couldn't say anything. The third reason why we must stick together is if we stick together, we can tell the truth to each other. Some of you head of states, you have to go to each other and say, Mr. Man, you're old. You can barely talk. You don't even remember where you are. Let it go. This is too much. You're disgracing us all. Some of the presidents cannot walk. They can't even talk. I'm telling you, just their lips can't even go up and down. And yet, you're sitting there. Is that not wickedness? Because if you're united, you can tell the truth to each other. So that you are not thinking about us. You're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about all of us. How we do look in front of other people. A leadership needs stamina. Leadership needs clarity. Leadership needs command. And leadership needs determination. There is no way that you're a leader, you don't have these things. And you're sitting there. You can barely climb steps. And it's never about what happened 20 years ago. It's about what is happening now. And what are our plans? What are the plans that we have for the next 10 years? And where do we see ourselves in the next 10 years? Those are the things leaders sit around telling each other, talking to each other about. Number 4 is the Western leadership program where some Africans are being taken abroad and taught some things in some schools and then they bring them back. I mean, some of them some of our leaders have been there, so they have been to those schools. So it's in a case where when they come back, they try to inculcate these things and put them in the system and try to make it work, but they will never work because we do have stubborn people. Our civil servants are stubborn. Some of them are lazy. Some of them don't even want to do the job. Some of them are just there because, I mean, they need their salary at the end of the month. They don't have any plans. They don't even dream. They don't even have dreams about what is my next move. What do we need to change? All what they have is, do you know who I am? That's their next move. That is the highest plan they have for themselves. Do you know who I am? Calling the police for you because they know they have power. That's a system that has to change. Because if you take the Western system and you put it in a system where someone just sits down in his house and calls the police for the next guy because he knows he has power or he has money, then it won't work. We need a system in place that we make for ourselves, that when people do stupid things like this, you are punished. There is no way that you go unpunished. We need leaders that will stand on the truth and make sure that those punishments come to pass. We need leaders that will set fear in you when you think of doing nonsense, especially when it comes to the nation building. But if we don't have leaders that set fear in people, because they themselves, they know that they are corrupted, so they cannot set examples. So we stay where we are, no roads, nothing. We see our young ones on the oceans dying because they're running to somewhere for greener pastures. They never come back sometimes. Some even prefer to get into the military in those countries to fight for their flag than to fight for your own flag. And you think it's normal, and you're sitting in your office, and you don't think of it like, man, we should really be bad people. We should really be witches and wizards. And that's, if you look on the screen, we have always tried to copy this thing. For example, this China and America. Look at their system. Look the way it works. You see executors and leadership. But when you see America, you see it's on narrators, journalists, and propaganda. And then you have lawyers and politicians. They are there for themselves. They are there to work for themselves. The system is capitalist. I mean, they are there for themselves. They work for themselves. They do everything for themselves. The flowers and everything is for them. They create all these things to confuse people, create propagandas, destroy things, destructive kind of system. They have a plan, but they plan to destroy. Why the other guy, if you look at the system, they are building their nation. They are developing now. Most of us are underdeveloped from what the system says. So what is our own plan? Do we have executors? Do we have leaders? We don't have. And that's why we have new age leaders like Traore coming up, because they're tired of waiting. They're tired. They're tired. They're angry. And I think Traore should be one of the youngest presidents on the African continent since the time of whatever. They're angry. They're tired. How can you be this wicked for this long, and yet you're celebrating 60 years anniversary? 60 year anniversary of what? Of what? What have you done? Put your name on the hospital that was created by your superior who came before you. Make statues for yourself. That's what you created. Make statues for yourself. That's what you created. Nickname some bridge in your name. That's what you created. That's why we have leaders like Traore coming up, because if not, no one really likes military rule. But at some point, people are tired. I mean, fight each other, kill each other. So the truth is, if African heads of states and African leaders don't stick with each other, or get united with each other, and always play these mind games with each other, I don't know if it's knowingly or unknowingly, or by other forces that are forcing them to do those games, the common man will always suffer. We just pray for the leader that will one day think about us. Think about the common man and stop thinking about themselves. That's what we hope for. Thank you very much. This is Far From Just Words.